Uh, Good afternoon, and I, Pinky Kedia, Chairperson of Women and Young Member Empowerment Committee of WRC of ICI, welcome you all in our webinar on POSH Compliance. And our renowned speaker, CS Sangeeta Kunder Patil, is here to tell about how we can comply our organization, or we can we can advise our client whether they require POSH compliance or how they can do. But before that, I request you all to put your hand to your heart for our institute motto. Please.
येष सुप्तेषु जागृति येष सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you all. Now about the topic of POSH compliance. Actually, when I ask someone ki POSH compliance, we are organizing a webinar on POSH compliance, they are thinking ki how we can protect ourselves according to POSH. So this meeting is regarding that, but this meeting is regarding the compliance part. How we can make our organization or our client organization POSH compliant. If we will not comply with the POSH guideline or POSH Act, what will be the consequences and how can we deal with that? But, so this is about the consultancy and professional part. It's not about how we female can protect ourselves, or how we can fight with for that. It is not like that. So be ready. There are so many professional opportunity in this field also. If your client's organization is come into the POSH Act, then you can advise them very well how they can do the committee, how they can create the committee, who will the member, and how many meetings to be conducted. There are some guidelines is there, and Sangeeta ji will tell about that. But before that, we have our IT person, chairperson, CA Arpit Kavaraji. And so I request him to say a few words about the subject matter, because he's very keen to do the program in Women and Young Empowerment Committee. So Arpitji, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And at the outset, let me welcome Sangeeta madam on a very, very important topic, something that's going to be an integral part of almost all our firms. All the industries, of course, are following up, but yes, very soon our CA firms and almost everywhere we'll have something like these now. Important aspect of compliance. So all the members, welcome all of you to this yet another session of BOW series. I must congratulate Pinky madam, the chairman of Women and Young Member Committee. Let me tell you that this POSH compliance, it's absolutely posh. POSH is in really very, very royal. Prevention of sexual harassment. It's just like an hygiene factor. Just like we've got all other hygiene factors. We've got a good air spray in our offices. We've got cleanliness in our offices. We've got all the other measures that we ensure that our environment is clean. I think this one policy is important to keep that cleanliness in our ecosystem. I think this is very, very, very crucial. We need to respect. We need to have an some things that are happening unconsciously. Probably there should be awareness that should be created, and something which is not intentional could be therefore be flagged off and course corrected. I think that is the right word. We need to have a course correction in all of these aspects.
Actually, our chairman sir is in some remote place, so maybe there is some network issue. If he will join in between, we can wait for a few seconds if he can get the connection. Otherwise, we will start with our agenda. I think he is not able to connect. So we can go forward. Yeah. So actually, he tried to tell about the what is post. Post is prevention of one sexual harassment, and it's must in every. It's if your organization is not come under post, then also as a female, as a professional, we can advise. It is better to formulate or implementation of that course in your organization for the betterment, and the staff will get secured, feel secure. So it is better advisable to do that. So now I don't want to take much time, and I request CA Kamna Jain to introduce our today's faculty. Arpit has joined. Yeah, Arpit, in between your network was not there, and we couldn't hear you properly. So,
Sorry, I just
complete
yeah,
your
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a bad network. I'm at the income tax office. We are at the outreach program of the e-verification scheme that's being launched by the income tax at Bandra. We are amongst the secretaries here. So, anyways, coming to the point that the cleanliness of our ecosystem, I think POSH is important for that. We need to create an awareness, and as Pinky Madam rightly mentioned, there's a huge scope of working as a consultant in this field. So, I think women chartered accountants, I think they could do this very better. Yeah, there's a lot of empathy that you would require to do this kind of a work. There will be a lot of diplomatic skills that you will require to set up this kind of a consultancy and to handle any affairs in this aspect. I think there'll be a lot of training that will be required. And as a chartered accountant, of course, that can be dealt in a very effective manner. Plus, with the guidance of Sangeeta Madam and many programs on these lines, I think that fine art of balancing the diplomacy and the tough decision making as well as communicating it effectively will become an important part. I think communication is the most important part of all of this that we do. So we would be happy that if we could create an entire ecosystem with this POSH compliance, opens up a big world of opportunities for all of us. If you need any more of these sessions, do let us know. We'll be more than happy. And any further guidance that will be required, we'll be happy to provide that through this WOW series, the Women on Wednesday. So all the best to each one of you. Happy to hear from each one of you in terms of any feedback or suggestions that you may have, and have a great learning session. Thank you. Over to you, Pinky Madam.
Thank you, Chairman Sir, to enlighten us about the topic. Now I request CA Kamna Jain to formally introduce our speaker, CA Sangeeta. Mrs. Sangeeta, please Kamna.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am CA Kamna Jain, and I welcome you all on behalf of WIRC for today's session of POSH. I would like to thank Chairman Sir of WIRC, CA Arpit Kabra Sir, for conducting session on POSH and promote safe work environment. And also like to thank RCM CA Pinky Madam, Chairperson of Women and Young Member Committee of WIRC, for giving me this opportunity. Now, to boost confidence and courage in us, we have well-renowned speaker, Mrs. Sangeeta Patil, an entrepreneur and coach trainer. She has done masters in human resource development. She has also done post-graduation diploma in marketing and communication and media development. She is a proprietor of Surge HR legal consultant. She is HR head of listed companies Supreme Petrochem Limited and HR head of other private limited companies. She is certified international POSH trainer. She has experience of more than 25 years as an HR head in various companies such as She is also successful lead strategic and operational initiative for startups and MNCs. She has also experience of working with global team and localize the practice to suit the domestic needs. I now welcome Mrs. Sangeeta Patil, ma'am, to take over this session. A huge round of applause for her. Ma'am, I request you take the session ahead.
Yes, Sangeeta ji, over
Yeah,
to
hi.
you. And now you can start and you can share your PPT also.
Yeah, I'll just share my PPT.
Yeah. We are eager to hear you.
Yeah, sure. Good evening to all the young women entrepreneurs and the leaders in their respective fields. Thank you, Pinky ma'am, as well as Kamna ma'am, to give an opportunity to really speak about POSH, some act which is very important to all women who are working in an organization, a workplace. Yeah, not taking much time, I would really go ahead with making you understand what exactly is POSH and how could really work. Yeah. Now, when you talk about the, can you hear me, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, fine. It's mainly about the historical context of POSH. The thing is, how did we really come up? India's always been a society where we always had a distinction between the sexual harassment of having a, in the society itself. We always been seen that the women have always confined to the four walls of the house. They were permitted to work, educated to work itself, but they were always quiet and they always bear the brunt of all this. There were a lot of things which could really happen with them, but many things, as you know, in today's world also. When I was HR person in the organization, there were many people who joined the organization. When they used to have this sexual harassment taking place with them, they used to leave the organization and go. What is the exit which takes place? They say that no, we got just a better opportunity. हमको काम करना नहीं है फिलहाल. But the main reason behind all this was sexual harassment. People were scared to report or complain about the harassment in workplace. That is where now the government has come up with 2013. They come up with an act called POSH, that is Prevention of Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace. Right now, when did this POSH Act come into being? It was mainly when there was a case of Vishaka versus the state of Rajasthan in 1997. At this time, the Supreme Court, when they came up with these issues which really took place, they said that it is necessary that we come out with an act which is for the woman, that is for POSH Act, where a woman is protected from all this harassment. Now, as I said to you, what is POSH? It stands for Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace. Here, you prohibit and you rape. Now, here in this POSH, it says there are set of guidelines and policies and laws which prevent and they address the sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, what do you mean actually is sexual harassment? We say, what exactly is sexual harassment? See, there, when you are working in any organization or any workplace or extended workplace, you see that there are certain physical contact or advances by the male counterpart, which becomes a very unwelcome act for a woman. What does a woman do? At first, they start brushing up with things. Then they feel uncomfortable about it. There are certain cases where there's a demand or request for sexual, favors. Sometimes there are sexually colored remarks like, you look hot in this sari, you look sexy. So these are the remarks which is called as sexually colored remarks. There are certain pornography which has been shared with our women counterparts. The other thing is that anything and everything which is unwelcome, physical, verbal, or a non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Now, for example, is when a person, a lady employee, when he or she is, I could say, she would say, when she is there in the organization, there are people who visit who give you a different non-verbal conduct of your sexual nature, which is not appreciable. Now we have to differentiate what is sexual harassment and which doesn't constitute a sexual harassment. Now, if your employer, if he asks you for certain things, like he says, why have you been late to offices? Why have there been more work? Absenteeism. This does not come under sexual harassment. Secondly, is if you require a performance job standards. Okay, if the person says that, okay, your performance is not up to the mark, you need to really work up. This doesn't constitute to a sexual harassment. Thirdly, is when you have a normal exercise of management rights. For example, your manager says that you need to go in this way around. Okay, this is you're supposed to go about with. No. So this will also not come under sexual harassment. The other thing is, if your manager would like to give you a feedback about your performance, that also doesn't come under your sexual harassment. The working conditions which you are in, again, doesn't come under sexual harassment. Now, what is the main is the importance of POSH. Why we need it in the organization? It is really needed because every woman who's working in an organization, she needs to be safe and comfortable. If she's safe and comfortable, there's a safe and comfortable work environment for everyone. What will happen? Your job satisfaction level increases, your productivity increases, and there is a reduction in the legal liability for the employees. So this is very essential for every employer, that he needs to know that there would be a reduction in legal liability for him if there's POSH in place. We have people getting better, people being in your organization, a better talent, a good talent, which we would like to cherish and keep with us. Okay. Now, the recent case, just about 2 days back, this has been a recent news of POSH violation in news, right? It's about a Surat case. I would like to talk about it on this, where a woman was working in an organization, right? And the name is concerned. Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can hear. Yeah. The thing is, what is really happened is they're working as colleagues in the organization.
Oh, madam, you are not audible.
It happened in 2018. This case has been reported in 2018, but came into news just about 2 days back. Being a project leader, he had a woman. So he had given a tablet to her to do her official work. But during his work, on every conversation to her, through. Hello?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, ma'am. From your side, I think some problem is there. Vinay ji, please check now.
हेलो
या विनय जी चेक करिए ना जरा उनसे बात करके कि
उनका नेटवर्क इशू आ रहा है.
उनको बोल दीजिए ना कि उनका वीडियो ऑफ करेंगे वो.
मैं कर देता हूँ. संगीता में वापस स्क्रीन शेयर करिए आपका.
या वापस मैं कर रही हूँ सर.
हाँ, स्क्रीन हाँ.
संगीता मैम अपना आपका वीडियो बंद कर दीजिए तो बैंडविड्थ कम हो जाएगी, वो ज्यादा नहीं लगेगी, तो योर वॉइस विल बी क्लियर।
मैंने बंद कर दिया। नेट का इशू आ रहा है मैडम।
उनका नेट का इशू है, उनको फोन करके जरा एक बार असिस्ट करूँ ना उनको।
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, ma'am. Your please switch off your video, then your voice
The
will be
video.
clear.
Can you hear me now? Hello. Hello.
बोलिए।
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. This was a recent case, sir, which has been.
आया नहीं मैम।
Hello.
हाँ आगे आगे ओके मैम कंटिन्यू।
Okay. So the thing is, in this case, what has really happened is during this process, the working organization, when the project manager had given a tablet for workers or for training this lady, they used to really be in contact with her through the mobile phones. And then he expresses love for this lady itself. And during the chat, one of the chat, he happened, she had sent him a video shared of changing clothes. And once he received certain things like that, he started making advances and more. Not appreciating or saying the lady happened to leave the organization and go. And she got married after some time. But the project manager was in contact with her, and he started, blackmailing her of sending more videos. She, her own family members, as well.
विनय जी एक बार उनको गाइड करो ना कि उनके वहां से क्यों इतनी इंटरनेट की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, उनको मोबाइल का नेटवर्क लेने बोलो ना क्या तो।
ओके मैम।
Hello.
Yes, Sangeeta ji.
Hear me, sir.
Yeah, but ma'am, if you can, if it is possible, please come to a network area. Na? Your network is very much unstable, and
okay,
we can't hear you properly. Your voice is not clear at all.
Okay, just one second.
We are not able to understand.
One, ma'am. I'll
No,
just
we can't hear you. We can't hear you, ma'am.
Hear me? Okay.
We are not able to understand.
Just one second.
Participants, please bear with us. We will resolve the issue very soon.
Now, ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's clear.
It's much clear.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's much clear. It's much clear. Now you can start.
This was a recent case of which has really happened in Surat, which we have just shared you a clipping about the newspaper, news with you. Okay. I have covered on this, but have you heard what I really told you on?
No, 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 ma'am, please.
Ma'am, this is in short, I would say this wasn't the case where a woman had joined as an intern, okay, in an organization under Mr. Mehta, who was a project leader, and as a result of which he was given this opportunity to train her. And at that time, he had given a tablet, and he used to always be in contact with her through the calls, mobile calls, whatever could say, voice calls. There was her scene or which she had shared of her at the time when she was changing her clothes. When he received such video chat from him, the hello,
हाँ, ma'am, again, voice is lagging.
hello,
Again, voice is lagging. Yeah, now it's
hello,
clear. Yeah, it's clear now.
hello. Yeah, voice is now. Can you hear me now, ma'am? Okay. Thing is, ma'am, really happen when certain scenes or any mobile chats which could be of sexual nature, that is a time when your boss
Ma'am,
could
again,
really ask for
madam,
more videos and could blackmail you or
madam,
threaten you. Though the
Sangeeta
lady
ma'am,
has
Sangeeta
left
ma'am,
the job, right?
Sangeeta ma'am,
But
Sangeeta ma'am,
the
again it is lagging.
threatening
Sangeeta ma'am, again it is lagging. We can't hear you properly.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Abhi okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So the main thing is the POSH compliance. It involves first is that we need to implement appropriate policies and procedures. Now, what do you mean by policies and procedures? This could in the form of a sexual harassment. You know, you have the policies, the sexual harassment policies, which has been done for every organization, where we curtail to all the policies and the procedures which the employer as well as the employee needs to abide by. Secondly is we need to provide training to employees and the managers, right? One is awareness of sexual harassment act to every employee and manager. Sometimes what happens in today's time is with a lot of social media coming to being, there are certain words, there are certain acts which becomes an uncomfortable factor to a female employee. So when you create awareness that as per POSH, you are not supposed to go use certain words, you're not supposed to have this gesture. So the thing is, our employee will not go about with. Thirdly is if there's any instance or any complaint of sexual harassment taking place in the organization, you need to go about with appropriate action to address it. That is when your ICC or internal complaint committee comes into being. Now, how do you prevent and what prevent or prevention of the Sexual Harassment Act and its provision, right? Now, this is applicable to every organization which is having more than 10 employees in the organization, and where you have to implement the policies procedures to prevent sexual harassment. And secondly is you need to have an internal committee or complaints committee, which is called as ICC, which will investigate and address the complaints of sexual harassment.
Ma'am,
Now, the
ma'am,
main thing.
ma'am, one question in your previous slide, you are asking about 10 employees. So 10 employees, including female or male, or there is any thinking 10 female employees
Yes, sir.
required for that?
No, not like that. So the thing is, any employer who's having 10 employees could be male or no woman employee also. See, what happens, ma'am, is when you have do not have a female employee in the organization, example, right? But you may have a female client who's coming and meet at that time when your employees do not know what is POSH and what are the gestures which is not appropriate. Things of sexual harassment complaint can be issued to the employer.
Okay, that means if there is no any female employee in the organization, then also POSH is applicable. If it is more
It
than
is
10.
applicable. Yes, ma'am. Because see, the thing is, your vendor, your clients could be a female employees also, right? If something happens with them, they will issue a complaint against your organization. But at that time, you come to know you are not POSH compliant. You also know that your employees do not know.
Yes, it's like you can say, yeah, it's like a ESIC.
What is POSH? There's no awareness of POSH. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, can I go ahead, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, who is covered under this act? In this act, you can have your full-time employees, you can have your temporary workers also. You could have your contract workers, you could have your daily wage employees, your trainees, your interns, your contractual workers who are on certain contract, housekeeping people, your security, women and securities, your client representatives, your clients, your vendor representatives, or volunteers who are working with the organization with or without remuneration. So it is the complete obligation of the employer to see to it that no sexual harassment takes place with all these people. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You are audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the thing is, sometimes you feel that what is unwelcome behavior? What is a welcome behavior? Any behavior which you feel, which takes place and you feel bad about it. If someone behaves in a manner which you as a woman employee feels really bad about it. Someone says something to you as only one-sided. You feel that your manager is very powerful and you feel very powerless in front of him in whatever he has to say. Power-based, any unwanted, illegal, invading, demeaning, and anything and everything which causes you anger or sadness. And also anything and everything which causes you negative self-esteem. I'll be explaining you with the case studies. I'll be asking you also how this can be depicted on. Now, the thing is, which is very essential, is what is a workplace? We say that, okay, when a person is working in an organization, it's a workplace. No, there could be extended workplace too. For example, is in your case, when chartered accountants or auditors, they do go to any company for auditing purpose. It could be in Mumbai, it could be outside Mumbai too. So your auditors are staying in a guest house or during the hotel stay also, or in a client space too. At that time, if any sexual harassment takes place, then it will also come under POSH. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So it's any place which is visited by your employee of the organization during the course of employment. Now, for example, in the case of BPO, transportation which is provided. So when the person comes to your office through your transportation which is provided by the company, at that time, any unwelcome act or any sexual harassment takes place, it will be coming under POSH. Okay. Now, what is just a definition of employee? You could say that the Women Harassment Act once again emphasis on the wide range and covers regular, temporary, ad hoc employees. Employer is a person who really takes care, or he is a person who is responsible of the management, supervision, and the control of the workplace and management. He could also include the board of committee members also. Now, the main thing which we need to know about employers, what would be the duties of the employees as per POSH? Now, as per POSH, the main duties are which is required for performance is that he needs to provide a safe working environment. He needs to also, he needs to display at certain places in his workplace the penal consequences of workplace during sexual harassment and the order constituting the IC. We say that majority in your workplace, kindly see to it that you have your registration of POSH in your workplace. Secondly is your employees need to know, or any people visiting you in your organization, they need to know what is the penal consequences of having any sexual harassment in the workplace. And what is the order constituted in the IC, means who are the committee members in the IC. This needs to be displayed in your organization or in the employee's workplace. Secondly is you need to conduct POSH training programs from time to time to create awareness and sensitize the people of all levels. Because you have certain people join the organization, you have certain people leaving the organization. So you need to conduct POSH training programs time to time. And also, this is also essential. If there's any changes in POSH Act also, we need to update the people on the same. You also need to have orientation programs for your ICC. That is mainly we say technical programs for the ICC. How do you proceed with your ICC committee? How do you proceed with the meetings? How are you going to proceed with the investigations, right? And what are the necessary facilities to the members of ICC? There's not special anything like you're going to get a remuneration for the same, but the facilities that need to be given to the ICC members, because they investigate, they need to have given protections against it. Now you need to, how do we really proceed with assessing the aggrieved woman to secure justice? She's coming up with a complaint that this is sexual harassment which is taking place at so-and-so workplace or with so-and-so person. So how do you assist her? And how do you monitor the timely submission of reports by ICC? There are so timely, you need to have annual filings to be taken place also. So they need to go about with the submission of reports. So if our employee fails to comply with the provisions of the Act, he will also be penalized for it. Today, we come to know that the employer is having 10 plus employees, right? And he is not registered under POSH. He will be penalized with fines on the same. Okay. And the guilty person will also face imprisonment or both. Therefore, employers, they need to take POSH compliance very seriously and take appropriate measures to prevent and address the sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, what would be how do we create a POSH policy and we go about with just one second. First of all, miss, is the first step is you need to define as per your organization. First of all, you need to know what is the mainly is objective of organization. What does your company stand by? So your policy has to clearly define what is a sexual harassment, and use also good to give example that this type of conduct is not acceptable in the organization. You also have to tell who is the IC members, and thirdly is how do you go about with the complaint procedures. How, if I have a complaint, if some harassment is taking place, so I should know whom I'm supposed to approach. What is the procedure? If that is not in place, how would the POSH take place? So the policy needs to detail all this in their POSH policy of the respective organization. Secondly is you need to conduct trainings. It's for the employees as well as the managers to ensure that the organization's POSH policies and procedures is well understood and they can look into it and they can follow it. So how do we recognize this sexual harassment? How do we report? And what would be the consequences of you in engaging in such a behavior? So when you give them awareness on the same, so the people are well aware of it. Otherwise, they will say, "Okay, ma'am, we never knew that this comes under sexual harassment." Then it is a responsibility of the employer. He's not done his duty. Employees will always say so that we never knew about this because we were not well aware about it. So training is very essential. Thirdly is you need to establish a complaint mechanism. Complaint mechanism is like, how, for example, there's something happened with me. Whom should I approach? Okay, how do I approach? Should I go by written complaint? Do I need to meet a person, personally and detail him of what is really happening with you? So the mechanism has to be detailed. So this mechanism should be such that every employee of the organization are accessible to and you can protect the complainant's confidentiality. The other thing is to investigate the complaint. Once a complaint comes to the IC committee, they have to see that they have to have an impartial approach to it. They have to promptly investigate it and see that those members who are been a victim to all this and who is a respondent on this, who has done such thing with this employee. So your committee members should also be well trained to handle the complaints of sexual harassment. And lastly is that you need to take appropriate action. If the investigation finds that the sexual harassment has occurred, then appropriate action needs to be taken place. Disciplinary action or the termination of the harasser's employment has to be taken place. Secondly is also if there is a false complaint, then what is the procedure taken? That should also be detailed. Otherwise, any woman employee will come up and say that, okay, sexual harassment is taking place with me. So a complete investigation is very essential in this matter. So, hello?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Now, what is the best practice that every employer needs to go about for POSH compliance? It's that is you need to regularly review and update the policies, right, of POSH. Secondly is regular training. As I said, you need to foster an open communication between employees and the management to ensure that every person understands his POSH policies and procedures. Lastly is you also have to take the complaints very seriously. You have to investigate in all the possible ways and see that whether the sexual harassment is taking place and what is the action that you have taken against this. You should also support the complainant who's come out with this complaint and ensure that your investigation is very fair and impartial. Lastly is if there's no confidentiality which is being taken from the employer, people will not come ahead and report about this, that this harassment is taking place with me. So we should always encourage reporting. And for encouraging this reporting, you need to see to it that the reporting system is much more easy and is safe for every employee who reports about the sexual harassment. That is, you could have an anonymous reporting mechanism, or you could also have protection procedures against retaliation. Now, I would like to go about this instances which we say that, is this a sexual harassment or not? That's a case number 1, which says that Arvind and Sugna were a part of the team at an organization. Sugna reports to Arvind. Arvind constantly tells Sugunna that they need to go out for, a movie or a dinner after work hours. Um, initially she's just smiles and just brushes things off. She's uncomfortable but smiles and says that she's busy most time. One day Arvind says that if she turns down his request again, then her ratings will go down in a monthly review. Is this a sexual harassment or not? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am,
is
you're
this-
audible.
Yeah. Is this a sexual harassment, ma'am? Hello? Is this a sexual harassment, ma'am?
Yes, of course, ma'am, it is sexual harassment.
Yeah. Secondly, yes, and this is mainly takes place in the organizations and companies. Now we go to the second case is when you have, in the case of Neha, she's a part of the team that reports to Neeraj, who's a college senior. She's very good in her work and she's been assigned the most prestigious project in the company instead of Neerav, who's a senior in the team and has a lot of more experience than Neha. Neerav could be very upset about this and believes that Neha has been assigned the coveted project because they must be having a relationship. He jokes about this with other team members and slowly this spreads around in the company. Is this sexual harassment? So this all comes under sexual harassment, where here in this case, the person is having a mental torture. When we see people looking, when people gossip and smiles and cracks jokes, so the lady goes through a mental torture. So this comes under sexual harassment. So what is the action which takes place against harassment? The action is the disciplinary action initially, depending upon the case to case. Secondly is there could be warning letters. There could be also termination, suspension also, depending on the case and how deep or how crucial is this sexual harassment taking place. Now, in this case that we have just taken her details about, in the case of BFSI and the ITS companies. In the year 2020, we have seen 330 cases, which has been, in BFSI, and in IT companies, 409 cases which is registered. In 21, in BFSI, it's reduced in both in the case of IT as well as BFSI. In 2022, again, it is increased, though in IT, it is reduced. Why? The reason being is in the IT companies, there are very robust policies for POSH. The procedure which is taking place, the ICC committee were really, committed to really see to it that POSH is well taken care of. So the main concern is that we really need to look into this in a very serious note. This has been case of just shared or certain companies, right? In the year 2021 and 22, the cases which has been, the complaints which has been registered in HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, these are banks and certain companies which I have shown you. Now, in the case of internal complaint committee, the main thing is how is ICC and how to really go about female employees. The presiding officer also should be a woman. So, hello? Hello?
Ma'am, your voice is lagging just.
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yeah. But in your
Yeah, it is correct.
screen, ma'am, your previous screen, we are not hear you. We were not hear
Yeah.
you in your previous.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, I could say in short to you is like this. I've taken the case of mainly a university basis also in faculty or teaching and education institution, I could say. But I could say that in the case of any organization, a IC committee, it needs to have 50% of the IC committee members needs to be women. The presiding officer needs to be a woman. You need to have minimum 4 members in the IC committee, not less than that. And there need to be one external member who would not be or employee of the organization, but a person who's from NGO who's been looking into all this women's sexual harassment cases time and now. So she will see things in a much in a much different way of looking at the issues and take care of the situations. Now, once a complaint is been registered in IC, how it really proceeds, it really takes place first is any sexual harassment which takes place, the tenure is 3 months. Within 3 months, you need to register the complaint to the IC committee member in either ways, whichever is been comfortable to the people. First of all, most people do not come upfront and speak about it. So you need to have the mechanism for the same, which I've already spoken to. Once this complaint is come into being, the IC member will look into it and ask the person who is the respondent. The case is who has done this crime, whether this has taken place or not. So this time duration is more, it should be not less than or more than 7 working days once you have received the complaint. Once that is there, they look into the being like, has been done, this is a complaint which you have received, have you done this crime or not? If the respondent is good enough, it says, okay, I'm sorry, I have done this, I'll see to it that I don't go about it. A warning letter is given and things can go well. In certain cases, things takes place in a very vague or in a very crucial manner. At that time, investigation takes place. When the investigation takes place, it also, we go about with the forensic investigations too. Because there are certain cases in social medias, we have thing that we, delete our chats. Chat histories are deleted. Your messages are deleted. Then where do we get, things that, okay, this has happened. What is evidence that this has happened with me? So when you give evidence, when the person says, ma'am, that chat which has been done has been deleted. So at that time, forensic investigation takes place. And the term for every IC committee member is for 3 years. After every 3 years, the IC committee members will change. The main thing is sexual harassment act really effective? Yes. The answer is yes. It is really effective provided the policies, procedures are in place. Today, for example, when your procedures, just when in every organization you have your own HR policies. But in certain companies, apart from POSH, they also have neutral policies. When they are not general bias, when general bias is not there, they say that, okay, fine, if a male employee is also there, but if he goes through some sexual harassment, can he also complain? Yes. But this depends from company to company, their stand towards POSH. They feel that they should be gender sensitive. They go about with neutral policies. So when you have sexual harassment policies in place, you have your people feeling more comfortable, you have more job satisfaction, your productivity increases in the organization. And mainly is a brand image of the organization increases. In the recent case, which really took place in Onida. So where in the senior most manager and the secretary was involved. They were carrying on a relation. And at that time, there was no ifs and buts. But when their relation had a very ugly turn, the lady she gave a complaint about sexual harassment against the person concerned. The first step was the person was suspended. But in the 3 months' time, which took place, with the investigation took place, was found that it was under, both were, they had a consent toward it. But when things go ugly, the person, so at that time, the action which was taking place was both the employees were terminated from employment. So here you have a very fair deal which takes place in POSH. And it's a request because mainly is what is really happening, mainly, but it's actually is the need of the hour. Today we have BPOs where a lot of sexual harassment cases was there when it was an extended workplace, when they used to communicate, or the transportation takes place. We have people, visiting the client space too. At that time too, sexual harassment takes place. There was an organization where the employee had gone to the client's place and the sexual harassment took place. But the main concern was the company was not POSH compliant. Though the other company was good enough to say that, okay, fine, not a problem, let's go with the procedures. But everywhere it is not possible. Sometimes is that you do not have procedures to go about. You do not have people to come ahead with things because they feel that it's going to damage their own self-esteem. They feel that, okay, we come up with the complaints, but nothing can take place. So it's on every auditor to see to it that, yes, is the company POSH compliant or not? Now, if the penalties, as I said, is the first penalty, if it is found that the person is not compliant with POSH, then there is a fees of 50,000 K, 50,000, which is going to be as a fine, which is going to, the person has to go about with, or is going to be levied on. Second, you're going to repeat it. It's going to be double the price. Third is might be your license, your shop and establishment license could be restricted, and it could be your other establishment license also could be cancelled. Hello. 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 Hello.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is certain things that I would really go about. Now you can come up with your question answers. It could be a question answer sessions. Any questions that you need to ask me, you can really go ahead with.
If any participant has any kind of question, please, they can ask to ma'am. Ma'am, in the comment section, there are many questions. There. Can you see the comment section?
Just 1 second.
Yeah, message section. Please see, please.
Comment section.
Chat box will be there in your lower panel.
Yeah. This one is how many times just says that how many times IC committee meetings are mandatory. It depends from company to company. Sometimes it's merely a quarterly meeting which is essential. The another question which is been asked, do we have to have quarterly meetings for it? Yes. If you have a company, you could have a branch. It could be a main company as well as your location companies also, which are local companies. Your local also will have your IC committee separately. So the branch offices they have your separate IC committee. They will have the quarterly meetings taking place. Any complaints registered will be showcased. There'll be a report of POSH reporting taking place, will be submitted to the main office. and then the annual filings will take place. Do we need to record quarterly meetings? Yes, ma'am, by written way. Annual filings, yes. The annual filings are mandatory, ma'am. You need to share the screen of actions. Just 1 second.
Ma'am, there is a question, the list of reports to be submitted.
The list of reports to be submitted, yes. Whatever quarterly meetings which takes place, right? You have to say that, for example, in the first quarter, you have to say the number and you solve it. Okay, what is the solutions that you have gone about with? That has been justified, so that report has to be taken place. So you have to read each and everything as such about what was the issue and how did you close it.
So you mean to say it will reports should be submitted quarterly?
Yes, ma'am. You have to see, the thing is annual reporting takes place. Anything is yes, annual filing, but all this reporting has to be maintained. So at the end of the year, we will say that, okay, in this financial year, this much is the total number of companies which has been registered. You have to also mention also what are the different sexual harassment cases which is taking place. Because the thing is, the officers will really like to know what was the cases and as things been looked into it and closed from your end. In certain cases, what happens is if a woman employee is not at all satisfied with whatever is being done, so she can always go back and say that I'm not satisfied with what you have given the solutions with. At that time, IC committee member has to look forward for that also.
So ma'am, that filing to be done to whom? To whom we have to file? There is any authority or there is any office or to whom we have to file?
There is an office itself, which we do the annual filings for the employers. So we have a zonal, it depends on where the employer company is situated, on the basis of which that branch we will go about with.
Okay. And whether NGO party representation is compulsory?
NGO participation?
Yeah, NGO representative is compulsory because if in small private limited company, it is difficult to get NGO representative.
Ma'am, see, there are, now in this case, when we handle situations, there are certain companies who say that we cannot share up with your IC committee completely because there are a lot of other job responsibilities that they are, entitled for. So they cannot take out time and get into all this because this reporting for IC committee, it takes a lot of time, right? At that time, we look into the matter from our end. But the main thing is you have to mention that you have an IC committee which is there, who are the people who are presiding it and who are the people who are the office bearers. And how can they, contact these IC members? So that mechanism should be, in place.
Okay. So, but NGO representative should be there.
NGO representative is called as an external member. NGO representative is an external member, we could say. NGO representative could be from the NGO or any person who has been having the experience in handling women related the cases.
Okay, so external member can be anyone who has experience to handling these matters and has
yes, no, yes. So sometimes is
Okay.
we have when you say NGO, the people who are fighting for the rights of women, okay, they come under it. But some is like you have people, women entrepreneurs will be handling this sexual harassment cases also. In
So
their
lawyer
respective
can be
organizations.
external member.
Lawyer we would not, because the legality is now the thing is when we do not go about with lawyer as such as being an external member, but legal proceedings when it takes place, we take the help of a legality at that time.
No, but as you ma'am told that who has the experience of these matters can be external member. So if an advocate or lawyer is handling that matters, he or she has good experience of that. So why he or she cannot be the external member?
Ma'am, the thing is mainly is, as you said, it's a very good question that you have come up with, that why can't a lawyer be a excellent, not be an excellent member, right? But the thing is,
Yes.
you need to look into the prospect that how are you going to look into it? Because the thing is, we cannot say as such that this is a law and you're going to go about with. Because when a person goes through sexual harassment, you're disturbed. So we prefer majority of women who look into it. But if a woman has a thing, legal background as such, it could help at that moment of time. In when you have an IC member, because when you have reporting to be done, you need to have a legal person at that time. If the company can share up with, if the company can share up a legal person from the organization, because certain companies, they have their own legal department. So if we have one legal person from that department to be an IC member, that could really work up with. But mainly is they say that a person who could be a social worker who relates to women affairs is what they look for a external member.
Okay. So
because you need to have a soft skill at that moment of time to handle situations. Because if you say that no, आप ऐसे करोगे तो हम ऐसे करेंगे, so क्या है, at that time it's a very crucial, very sensitive matter, and situations has to be handled in that way. So any company in depending about establishments, we could say that if it's a big organization, we say that one member needs to be a legal member in the IC committee. But the presiding officer doesn't need be a legal person. And the person who is a presiding officer needs to be from senior management. And if the company doesn't have a senior management, then yes, managerial level. But yes, it should be from a managerial level. HR, we say that would not be into ICC committee. The reason being is we feel that would not be a fair deal. Hello? Hello? Hello, ma'am. Pingy, ma'am?
Hello. Just a second. My network was actually, ma'am, this screen is blank. Action against harassment. It is not visible. Nothing is there. So,
okay. What do you need, ma'am? You said me.
Your screen. Action against harassment is
action.
blank.
Okay, action. Just 1 second, ma'am. Just 1 second.
And Kamna, if you can ask the question, because in between I have logged out, so I have missed all the questions from my record. So please, if you can read if any question remain.
Ma'am, there was one question which has been asked by Deepali ma'am, which says that POSH training to be conducted for certified trader? Yes. Can a HR look into it? No. Can HR person conduct POSH trainings, POSH sensitization? No. The POSH trainer who's a certified trainer can only go about with POSH training. Another question is, so HR person should not be a part of ICC? No. The reason being is there need to be a fair deal, ma'am. Because the thing is, when you are in the organization, it's like when things really happen, this is all confidential matters. And I know being HR, we look into confidential matters. But the other thing is that this issue should not really merge with other issues. So we always say to it that HR should not be a part of ICC.
Okay. Ma'am, one question is in Q&A. Is cooperative societies, including housing society, need to have POSH ICC if?
Just one second, ma'am. The question is there. Just one, just looking.
Yeah, in Q&A. In Q&A. You see in Q&A.
Q&A, no? Just one second, ma'am.
Yeah.
There's one question: are there any standard policies, ma'am? Policies for sexual harassment needs to change as per your company's objectives and your way of what you really want to give for your people, for your employees. What is your stand for your people? So that will depict in your POSH policy. So POSH policies not necessarily needs to be a standard policy; it needs to change as per the company.
There is more question, ma'am. Is cooperative societies, including housing society, need to have
Just
POSH
one
ICC?
Cooperative society, just one second. Is cooperative societies, including housing society, need to have POSH ICC if the staff is more than 10? Yes, ma'am, we need to have. Hello?
Yes, so in every cooperative society, is staff is more than 10?
If it's more than 10 itself, yes, you could have it. If any sexual harassment takes place, then you need to look into it. You need to address the complaints. How do you go about?
Okay. And whether there is any reporting of POSH compliance in our audit report, or CA had to report in there?
Ma'am, there is a, see what really happened when you do a technical training for IC committee members. So what we have a format on what basis that needs to go about. It's a format for, reporting, which we share with them and we ask them to go about with the same. Right. So on the basis of which the annual filing takes place. Now, in the case of people who are having your employee strength less than 10, here the LC takes place. Local committees. We have nodal officers looking after that. So now mainly is we need to look for any employer or any establishment which is having 10 plus employees. There are certain companies which we have come across which says that we cannot share our employees. You kindly look into it. We do the needful also for them. That can be looked into too.
Ma'am, where government authority authorized post training certification can be done, there is any institute or any department of government where we can do that training certificate?
POSH training?
Yeah.
POSH training, government has not come yet, but we have institutes like SHRM, which really goes out with the same. It's international institutions.
Okay. Ma'am, this action, some people are asking about this screen. This is screen in which heading is action against harassment, but that screen is blank. Nothing is written over there.
Okay, action against. Okay, just one second. So action against harassment is
yeah,
it's blank. They need just one second. Just one second, ma'am. I'll just give the content. No, I'll just give the content.
It's on that.
Yeah, I'll just give the content to you right away. Share that.
Also, I want to inform all the participants that there is a section in director's report also about the sexual harassment. They have to make the disclosure what they are following in their company, whether there is any POSH committee is there or not. In all the director's report, you will find there one section for that. Ma'am, they are asking, please repeat certification part. Who provides certificate training?
Just one second, ma'am. Just one second, dear. Ma'am, can.
Sorry?
Just one second, ma'am. Just one second. I'm just sharing the action against harassment, which needs to be there. Just one second. Hello, ma'am. Can you share the slide with you for actions against harassment? Hello? Hello?
Yes, now it's visible. Now it's visible. Action
So
against
it's mainly
harassment.
the restoration of the lost terms, conditions, or the benefits of employment to the complaining associate. And what is the disciplinary action? Written disciplinary warnings, demotions or suspensions, and termination.
Okay,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
can you repeat where we can do the certification part and
Certification for which one, ma'am?
for this post training certificate?
For as a POSH trader,
Yeah.
you can do it from SHRM.
S
HRM.
full form.
The full form, it's a mainly an international this, which looks after, it's mainly into HRM basis. Just 1 second.
Okay. I don't think independent director can be member of post.
No, director independent, he cannot be that.
Yeah, that's my understanding is also that he
No, he
independent director.
cannot be there because see, the ma'am is he has other things to look into it. Okay.
Yes.
And secondly is we say that he cannot be one. So you need to have your presiding officer or woman who is in a senior most management. If in the senior most management there's nobody like that, then you need to have somebody with who's in a managerial position. And
Ma'am, one situation is that then if there is you are telling that if any other female member in employee there, then also post is applicable. In that case, how the committee will be created if there is no any female employee?
if there's no female committee, there's no female employee in the organization. At that time, when it's a small organization, then they say they have an external member taking care of the whole thing. Now, certain organizations, for example,
can you repeat again because your voice was breaking at that time?
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, for example, there are organizations which are very small, and for example, it's a SME, right? Now, what happens in SME itself that a person has to do many work at one time. It's a multitasking which takes place. When it is multitasking, you are not being able to take out an employee to just look after the IC committee proceedings of sexual harassment. At that time, this procedures is being given to an external member to look into all that. So she will look into all the presidings of the same.
Okay, so in that case, two external member is required if there is no female employee.
Yes. So what they do is there are institutions, there are, for example, how we really go about it. We look into all the matters. We have at that time, we say that, okay, we come over there, we have trainings done for them. We also see to it that, on and off, there are trainings as well as sensitizations also, women empowerment trainings also, which takes place, inclusion trainings, which takes place, right? And then we also address people. We have ballot boxes where any person who has a sexual harassment case, they need to put it into the box. So when we come up, we go through it, we address the issue from our way around. This is only for organization which is these small organizations. When you have already a structured organization, we don't go with this way.
Correct.
Hello.
One more thing came to my mind. In SME, in any SME organization, at one place there are 3 or 4 companies are doing work.
Absolutely.
Okay, so 10 employee in each company will be calculated, or
see, ma'am.
Sorry.
One thing I'll tell you is like any company or any organization, if it's a registered organization, POSH is applicable, and it has, second point is it has 10 plus employees, right? Now, for example, I take example of Reliance. Reliance as Reliance Petrochem, Reliance as Reliance Trends, which is into clothing. You have it also into supermarkets, right? Here, every organization which is registered and having 10 plus employees, they will have different IC committees. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, but my question is that there are one example I am saying. At one place, 4 companies are there, but in one company there are 3 employees, in one company there are 4 employees, in one company there are 5 employees. So total of all employee in all 4 companies.
How are they
total employee
registered
will
the
be-
companies?
Yeah.
No, ma'am. How are they registered the company?
All the companies are registered in Companies Act.
But does each company have 10 employees?
No.
No.
In record, they have only 2 or 3 employees, but at the same
Yes.
place, all the employees are sitting at the same place. So
Achha, they're saying the same workplace. Same workplace
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Same workplace.
Okay. If it is the same workplace itself, then they can have, in a company which could be a parent company.
Okay.
In the parent company itself, because the thing is, here you cannot, for example, is when you have an annual filing which takes place. So it will be against which company? The question will be raised. Right,
no, my question, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Whether POSH is applicable, because at that place, more than 10 employees is working, but all are under different companies.
Agreed, ma'am. Then the main company, the parent company will be, the POSH will be registered on the parent company.
There is no parent company. All the 4 companies are different entities.
The different entities altogether.
Yes,
see, ma'am,
yes.
It would not be applicable at that moment of time, because what happens is when you have annual filing, you have to write the name of the company. So which company will you put there then? The question arises there. Got my point?
Correct.
So आप कौन से कंपनी के अंडर आप पॉश का फाइलिंग्स करोगे फिर?
That's what I'm saying.
नहीं हो सकता कभी. वर्क प्लेस आप एक ही जगह पे बैठे हो, ठीक है,
लेकिन मैं वही क्लियर करना चाहती हूँ मैम कि इसमें प्लेस का कोई वो नहीं है.
नहीं.
एक ही प्लेस में यदि 10 से ज्यादा कितने भी लोग बैठे हो, बट ऑन बुक्स रिकॉर्ड यदि 10 एम्प्लॉई से ज्यादा है.
हाँ, एनुअल फाइलिंग में ये जरूरी है कि आप कौन सी कंपनी के अंडर पॉश का फाइलिंग्स करवा रहे हो.
हाँ.
तो अगर वो वैसा नहीं है तो आप कैसे एप्लीकेबल कर सकते हो?
हाँ.
समझे ना मैम? बिकॉज उधर आपको प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगी आपको. तो तभी क्या कर सकते हो मालूम है, उसकी भी ऑप्शंस है. वी गो अबाउट दैट आल्सो ऑप्शंस. बट यहाँ जो है मेन आपका मैनेजमेंट का क्या डायरेक्शंस है, वो क्या चाहता है. बिकॉज जब ऐसी भी कंपनीज थे, जैसे आप जैसे बोल रहे हो कि उनके पास 15 एम्प्लॉइज थे एंड डिफरेंट कंपनीज के नाम पे थे, छोटी छोटी कंपनीज है, ट्रेडिंग के है, ऐसे म्यूचुअल फंड्स के है. लेकिन उनका जो मेन बॉस थे, उन्होंने सीधा बोला था हम लोग को कि हमको एक सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट पॉलिसी चाहिए, दो वी आर नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू इट, बट वी वांट टू मॉनिटर इट. आज हम 3 हैं एम्प्लॉइज है हमारे ये कंपनी में, जरूरी नहीं है कि हम हमेशा 3 ही रहे. इफ यू गोइंग टू फ्लरिश ऑन, then we will go about with 10 employees of तभी हम क्या करेंगे, राइट? तो अभी आप क्या कीजिए, पहले जो है सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट पॉलिसी हमारे लिए बना के रखिए. ये हम हमारी सोच ये है, पॉलिसी बना के रखिए, ट्रेनिंग करके रखिए आप, राइट? आईसी कमेटी नहीं बन सकती है, नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, लेकिन एटलीस्ट हमारे जो एम्प्लॉइज रहेंगे उनको एटलीस्ट तो पता चलेगा कि पॉश के अंडर क्या क्या चीज आती है, कौन से गेस्चर्स, क्या बात नहीं करना चाहिए, किस हिसाब से रहना चाहिए, वो जरूरी है. आज हमारे एम्प्लॉयज यहाँ हैं, कहीं बाहर जाके किसी से बात करेंगे तो उनको मालूम होना चाहिए ना, ये तो कंपनी हमारी कंपनी के अगेंस्ट जा सकता है. तो वो क्या वो हमारा बेस बना के रखिए. आप इतना तो करके रखिए, पॉलिसीज बना के रखिए, आप ये सब चीज करके रखिए. एंड हमारी कंपनी 10 एम्प्लॉयज का हो जाते तो हम इंडिविजुअल कंपनी के नाम पे करेंगे फाइलिंग. सी दैट इज व्हाट योर, आपका जो डायरेक्टर है, एमडी है, चेयरमैन ऑफ द कंपनी, उनका क्या सोच है वो जरूरी है, वो क्या चाहता है एम्प्लॉइज के लिए. अभी आपको एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि कोई ऐसी भी कंपनी है जहाँ ट्रेनर्स रहते हैं, उनकी कंपनीज में ट्रेनर्स है जो दूसरे कंपनीज में ट्रेनिंग देते हैं. तो उन्होंने भी बोला है कि पॉश का ट्रेनिंग होना जरूरी है, क्योंकि हम ये चाहते, बिकॉज हमारे जो एम्प्लॉइज है दे गो टू डिफरेंट कंपनीज, राइट? We want to safeguard our people. We want to have a better environment for our people. We don't want a hostile environment. डर डर के रहना हमको वो पसंद नहीं है. तो वो बोलते हैं कि नहीं आप पॉश ट्रेनिंग कीजिए, अवेयरनेस क्रिएट कीजिए। पॉलिसीज क्या है वो हमारे दोनों मेल एम्प्लॉयज एज वेल वुमेन एम्प्लॉय को जाना बहुत जरूरी है।
एक्चुअली अवेयरनेस तो मैडम कोई भी चीज की अवेयरनेस या एजुकेशन है वो
होना बहुत जरूरी है मैम। एंड जैसे आप बोलते हो आईसी कमेटी के लिए, आईसी कमेटी के लिए टेक्निकल जो पॉश एक्ट रहता है वो किस हिसाब से करना है, वो तो लीगल वर्ड्स किस हिसाब से यूज करना है। बिकॉज आप ऐसे कोई भी वर्ड्स यूज करेंगे विच कैन अगेंस्ट द आईसी मेंबर टू। ऐसे भी केसेस है जहाँ आईसी मेंबर के अगेंस्ट भी कंप्लेंट दर्ज किया गया है। तो पर्सन द एम्प्लॉय सेज हम कैसे कंप्लेंट रजिस्टर करेंगे? So there are ways, that is where we come into it.
correct. So when Dipali madam is saying, so if sister company member sitting, then don't need to be educated, but POSH is not applicable. Correct.
See, if for example a sister company is sitting there in that same workplace, that is what she wants to ask me. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, same workplace, but the employer, he says that he needs to have the policies. He needs to take reaches from people. He will do that okay, I have read through the policies and I'll go to abide by him with the employment. पॉलिसी का कितना टाइम कितना लगता है आपको, उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना मैम। बट द सिस्टर कंपनीज चाहिए क्यों ना हो, 6 एम्प्लॉइज क्यों ना हो, लेकिन द थिंग इज एज आई सेड यू प्रीवियसली आल्सो कि आपके एम्प्लॉयर क्या चाहते हैं, आपका एमडीज आपके सीनियर मैनेजमेंट क्या चाहते हैं वो जरूरी है। बट अगर एम्प्लॉय स्ट्रेंथ इज लेस देन 6, रिमेंबर पॉश में नहीं आता। लेकिन there's other committee which looks into it if a sexual harassment case comes into it. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, that we understood. That. तो अच्छा मैम, एक क्वेश्चन था ऊपर कि सीए फॉर्म रिपोर्ट को कहाँ सबमिट करेंगे?
ये फॉर्म जो है
एनुअल रिपोर्ट सीए को
I know got a question. सीए फॉर्म क्या बोल रहे हो मैम? तो वॉइस कट रहा है।
ये सीए फॉर्म में यदि पॉश एप्लीकेबल है तो whether they have to submit their annual report.
Annual report is we have a nodal office. For example, ये जरूरी है कि सीए कंपनी में जो है वो किस में आता है, थाना में। सो अलग अलग ब्रांचेस, अलग अलग नोडल ऑफिसेज रहते हैं, वहां उनको अभी आप बोलते हो कि हमारे ऑफिस यहाँ है, देन आई विल शेयर यू द डिटेल्स वेयर यू हैव टू डू अ फाइलिंग देयर. It depends on which zone you come under. Hello?
Yes.
Have you understood, ma'am? Hello?
Yes. I can listen. Yeah, madam. Tell me. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, any more question?
Ma'am, someone has asked to provide the contact details. I believe that it is already mentioned in the screen itself, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
And they've asked one question which I've already addressed. That is, can independent director be also a member of the POSH? No. So can you please repeat the certification part? It is called SHRM. That is Society of Human Resource. Hello?
Yes.
Then this I've addressed here, the cooperative society. Yes, it's been done. Can husband, wife both be IC member of the same organization? No. If no, what action to be taken? Action against what? Hello? Ma'am, this was a question which has been, I don't know. They said that can husband, wife both be the ICC member of the same organization? The answer is no. They've asked what action to be taken. नहीं हो सकते दोनों
नहीं, उनका कहने का मतलब है कि यदि कोई एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दोनों है आईसी मेंबर, तो इस केस में क्या एक्शन उनके ऊपर हो सकता है?
बिकॉज़ नहीं हो सकता है, पहली बात है आप कर ही नहीं सकते हो।
नहीं, लेकिन
हस्बैंड वाइफ नहीं हो सकता।
यदि किसी ने किया है ऐसा तो क्या कर सकते हैं या क्या एक्शन हो सकता है?
तो दैट पर्सन हैज टू, उनका जो है, दे हैव टू they have to submit the thing that okay, we are related to each other, we cannot be members of IC member. ये आपको आपका जो कमिटी जो प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर को देना पड़ेगा इन रिटर्न. That reason I quit from that position of an IC member because we were related to each other.
ओके, तो ये रिलेटेड पार्टी का डिस्क्लोजर भी प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर को देना पड़ता है?
यस मैम. दूसरी बात, हाँ, दूसरी बात आपको ये बोलना पड़ता ही है. दूसरी बात है जो हम हमारे जो कंपनीज में जो प्रॉब्लम्स आती है कि मेनली इन बीपीओज, जहाँ व्हेन यू हैव पीपल ऑफ अ वेरी यंग एज जो 21 years के रहते हैं, when they join the organization they are they don't have any relation, but when they join the organization they are into a relation. At that time also they have to tell the management that they are into a relationship, and there is an agreement to be signed from them which says that if they any reason they are apart from each other, then no complaint will be registered, because at this time people have problem, the company comes into problem, the brand image of the company is tarnished.
Okay.
So एक agreement रहता है which we really go about where they we all, because in POSH में वो mention किया जाता है, policy में mention किया जाता है. That's why I said you every company the POSH policy will change. It's not a standard one because every company their function is different. So we see to it that do they have their branch offices, their zonal offices, how big is the zonal office, how many people are there in each zonal office, branch office. So all
Ma'am,
that
can
is we take
ma'am,
into
can you
consideration
remove
their
share
POSH
screen?
policies.
Ma'am, can you remove share
just-
screen? Then we can see each other.
Just one second, ma'am. I'll
Yeah.
just remove
Stop
the share
sharing.
screen. Just
Stop
one second.
sharing.
Yeah. Just one second, ma'am.
In between, there is one question.
Stop share.
Please share nodal zonal office list.
Yeah, I can share it with you. If anyone needs, can we kindly be in touch with me? We'll do the needful. But you have to mention to me where.
Okay. Okay.
Because
And,
on the basis of which I can share it with you.
okay, ma'am. Okay. And secondly, they are asking, is there any formatage for revision of IC members before 3-year tenure?
Ma'am, it's 3 years. After every 3 years, the new, ma'am, your voice cannot be heard.
But if they want to change in between, before 3
Okay.
years, if they want to change, if there is any formatage or they can change, or that's why.
Okay. If the, for example, is if they want to change in between, because what they have to say, you have to give in written why you are going to change it. Because when the filing takes place, when it is going to go through it, why it has been changed, for what is the reason for you to change in between, and on the basis of which you can justify your change.
But change is possible. If
Yeah.
change is on
Is change on
basis or
rotational basis or 100% change? 100% change is okay. Then it's a complete changeover, right? Now, for example, it is related to any member. IC member needs to quit. Now, as I said to you, in the case of IC member, there was a case against IC member. Then he needs to step out. At that time, the presiding officer will say that so and so person is no longer being a IC member, and instead of him, so and so person will be a new IC member. So,
okay, so
that thing has
100%
to
change
be
is not
conveyed.
required. 100% change is
Not
required.
necessary, ma'am. Not necessary. That's why I'm saying
Same
कि
person-
when this
same
is
person
changed,
also can
justify
continue.
karo.
Same person
Yes,
can
yes,
also
yes.
continue after 3 years.
Yes, after 3 years, not necessary.
Okay, so all the committee member who are who are there for 3 years, they all 100% can be appointed.
You have
for
to change to
next year.
yes. You can change it to the other one.
Okay, there is no need to change any percentage basis, like if there were 4 person before ABCD. So that ABCD can be appointed after 3 years also.
Now, for example, एक tenure का 3 years है, right?
हाँ.
उसके बाद और एक tenure पे जो है complete change over रहेगा. उसके बाद का tenure पे आप आ सकते हो.
बट बीच में जो एक टेन्योर का आप जो बता रहे हैं मैम चेंज ओवर, तो उसमें चेंज करना कंपलसरी है. मैं सेम कमिटी मेंबर को कंटिन्यू नहीं कर सकती नेक्स्ट 3 इयर्स के लिए.
नहीं मैम, जरूरी नहीं है.
नहीं, जरूरी नहीं है की बात नहीं है, मतलब मैं कंटिन्यू कर सकती हूँ कि नहीं कर सकती हूँ सेम कमिटी मेंबर को.
मैम एक्चुअली
नहीं करना है.
Okay, ma'am, actually, for example, then you have to again come the amendment itself that we would like to go about the same. But actually, as of now, what is really happening is people change it. At least one tenure का change करते हैं. उसके बाद वापस उनको repeat करवाते हैं. Because क्या होता है मैम? कि for example is आप यहाँ हो, आप ये committee में हो. Now you have the same problem coming up, you know. So आपका static हो जाता है on looking at things. वो static नहीं होना चाहिए. You need to have a fair deal. Is what we say that okay, next after 3 years change over. उसके बाद tenure में वापस आप आ सकते हो 100%.
ओके ओके, तो लॉ में ऐसा नहीं है कि चेंज करना ही है 100%, बट मैटर है कि चेंज कर लिया जाए ऐसा.
तो इट्स मच बेटर मैम. एक्चुअली क्या है मैम, बहुत सारे एक्ट के हिसाब से तो है ही है, बट द थिंग इज रोटेशनल चेंज बहुत जरूरी है. बिकॉज फेयर डील, बिकॉज ये सब चीज फेयर है मैम, फेयर होना बहुत जरूरी. आप जो भी डिसीजन लोगे या आपका जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना चाहिए, शुड बी अ फेयर वन. कुछ भी it can also get against the company also. What will happen, ma'am? If, for example, if the person is not satisfied with your, whatever action you have taken,
he may take a action I have taken. If
Yeah.
they are not satisfied,
तो क्या करेंगे? हाँ, तो क्या करेंगे? लॉयर को बोलेंगे नहीं, I have not got justice. तो आपका जो है legality will come into being. तो किसमें प्रॉब्लम आएगा? एम्प्लॉयर को प्रॉब्लम आएगा. सो इसलिए हमेशा बोलते नहीं, वो 1 साल 3 साल पहले ही वाज देयर, नाउ इज सेम थिंग. सो अभी ऐसे. सो हमेशा इट्स ऑलवेज गुड दैट यू गो फॉर रोटेशनल वन. आफ्टर एवरी 3 ईयर प्लीज चेंज ओवर. आफ्टर 3 इयर्स के बाद वापस आप पहले वाले लेके आ सकते हो. सो एक हमेशा कूलिंग पीरियड होना चाहिए मैम, जरूरी होता है.
ओके, फाइन फाइन. सो थैंक यू संगीता मैम. In spite of internet problem and
I know, because actually I am on vacation actually. So that's the main thing. So I've come to the remote.
Yeah, but we have completed our session in great manner and you have answered all the questions very well. So now I want to ask our coordinator to give a well-deserved vote of thanks to you. So
Thank
over
you.
to Kajal. Kajal, please.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. It is rightly said that we must find time to stop and thank the people who make difference in our lives. And undoubtedly, this was the eye-opening session for all of us. On behalf of our organizing team, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks for this session. My heart fills with lots of gratitude and immense respect for our distinguished guest speaker, Sangeeta Patil, ma'am, for not only sparing her valuable time for us to grace this session, but also enlightening us with her commendable talk on the POSH compliances. Thanks to you for clearing our concepts and enhancing our understanding pertaining to the POSH, because session was full of intricate details about various case studies on POSH, when to lodge a complaint, how ICC can help us, and also solve many questions of the participants. I extend my gratitude to WRC Chairman CA Arpit Kabra sir, Regional Council Member and Chairman of Women and Young Member Committee, CA Pinky Kedia ma'am, for conducting and covering a session on the sensitive topics like POSH under WOW series. And lastly, I propose my warm gratitude to all the participants who actually gave a patient hearing throughout the session and participated in a huge number. Such kind of support WRC seeks from you for further events also. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, over to you, Pinky ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I want to thank you, Coordinator Kajal and Coordinator Kamna, for better coordinating and conducting this session. And I want to thank Sangeeta ma'am also, that in spite of she is on the family vacation, she has conducted this seminar webinar very well. And and I want to apologize for our participant that there was some network glitch. We have solved later on, but thanks for bearing with us and to understand our problem. So thank you all the participants, and we will come forward with many more this type of educational webinar every month. And if you want to organize, or if you want any subject webinar on any subject, please inform me, or can you if you want, you can message me or email me, and then we will organize a type of seminar webinar again. Thank you again. Thank you all the participants.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, can we leave the session now?
Yes, yes, we can leave. Thank you, Kajal. Misra ji, you can stop the recording.
Yes, Pinky ma'am, just 1 second.
Yeah, tell me.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity for being coordinator for sessions like WOW series and all.
No, we want you all to be come in our webinar, seminar, and participate in all the activities of institute. Then only we can grow. We
Yeah,
want your
that's true.
suggestions, your feedbacks also, how we can improve and on which topic we can do next seminar or webinar. So,
Yeah.
thank you for sparing time.
Yes, most
No,
welcome,
ma'am, you
ma'am.
should not be thankful. We should be thankful. You have given us such a good opportunity.
Exactly.
कॉन्टेक्ट डिटेल उन्होंने दिया है अनीता जी ने संगीता जी ने तो अपना कॉन्टेक्ट डिटेल दिया था इफ यू वांट माय कॉन्टेक्ट डिटेल देन इट आई हैव रिटन किसी को तो चाहिए था ओके ये उन्होंने होस्ट को दिया है कंटिन्यू जस्ट अ सेकंड आई विल टाइप हियर so now we can leave the seminar. Actually I think Misra ji is not here so we can leave. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
हाँ तो रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कीजिए मिश्रा जी और सेशन खत्म कीजिए